You Owen!
Take him up, ladies.
First grade one winner. I won the Whitney farm over on Fort Lorna quite a few years ago. So it's exciting, to go all these years and have people like them keep supporting me and finding these really good horses for me. I'm excited to go into Derby for it.
What did you think of the ride?
I mean, that was the thing. I'd never been on this horse before. We watched all his replays, and I talked to Ian quite a bit about him. And going around the first turn, he kind of surprised me because he wasn't really taken to the kickback, and he was kind of climbing a bit. So I decided to get him outside. And the impressive thing about him today was from the 5/8 pole home, he put in a really long, sustained run and ran down a Grade 1 winner. So you have to be proud of him. And he showed he's going to be an exciting horse to move forward with.
I think they said last to first. Were you surprised at the resilience of it?
No, not really, because if you go back and watch his races, he's done things in the past that really good horses do, and he's overcome some troubled trips. And today, the impressive thing about him was he was just able to sustain such a long run.
I know you're focused on the race, but you hear the roar. That crowd was roaring. It was a great finish. What did you think of the finish?
Yeah, I mean, he turning for home, he had a full head of steam, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get there. Especially with this long stretch here at Keeneland, he swapped leads, and he just kept coming and coming and coming, and that's the nice thing about him. He keeps running, and even through the wire, he was getting away from that horse again. So he looks like the further he goes, the better we're going to be.
Brian, 25 days till the Derby. What do you need to improve upon with this horse until then?
I mean, that's I'm fortunate enough to ride him. That's Ian's deal. He'll get him back to the barn and evaluate him, and he'll go from there. The good thing about him is he knows how to get him to the Derby. Him and Carl Napster did it for a number of years, and he'll know what we need the first Saturday in May.
Brian, you have some history. We got him out in the next race. Able to go out there again this time around. I mean, what can you take that experience of last year into this year? What does that look like?
That's the nice thing about it, is that we're fortunate enough to ride really nice horses. And last year going out there and winning the Derby with Kenny, it was special. We knew going into the race that we had a legitimate chance. So going into it this year, you're going into it thinking you have another really good 3-year-old. We just have to keep looking forward to it. We got 25 days to keep looking forward to it.
Mrs. Whitham comes first.
There you go. Well, Ian, what a day. I mean, you win the Madison and the Bluegrass Stakes. I mean, unbelievable.
Can I do it again?
Well, they got a Humana Distaff and a Kentucky Derby on the first Saturday in May, don't they?
Well, I don't want to correct it because I won't win the Humana Distaff because it's a Derby City.
Oh, it's a Derby City. I'm sorry, I changed the sponsor on me.
Yeah.
What did you think of the race?
Very good. It's just as Brian said, he wasn't running into the dirt. He went outside, because I didn't know. I left it to Brian whether he would go inside or outside, and he decided to go out. And to make that longer run and still finish off and catch a good horse at the wire, I'm very proud of him.
Last to first, how impressed are you with the resilience?
Oh, like I've always said with this horse, he doesn't get tired. The more distance, the better. Distance is his dream house.
How do you like his chances at Churchill?
You got to like him, but the waters get deeper. We got to still step up. We got to get a little better yet, and keep improving.
Brian's run a few derbies, had a little success there as well.
Yeah.
How great of a rider is and jockey ultimately is he, and kind of confidence? Talk about what you added in him.
Well, a lot of confidence, and I feel bad for Edgar. He's done nothing wrong with this horse. He helped develop him. It was just a case of, it was a simple thing. As Edgar was a Kentucky rider, he wouldn't have been taken off. It's just the history with Brian goes back to the Whithams and me, and we all decided. And when Kenny didn't have something, Brian was open. We just couldn't pass up that opportunity. So we got all the utmost confidence in Brian.
The excitement to go back to the Derby. I mean, what's that like for you?
Oh, there's only one Derby. That's a race. People ask you. They don't ask you whether you won a Breeders' Cup. They ask you if you won a Derby.
And you were very closely, obviously, connected with Street Sense, who lost this race by a nose.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you got one back now?
Yeah, I got Carl this time. He hadn't won a Bluegrass.
How does it mean to win the Bluegrass specifically?
Oh, I think it's a very prestigious race. Well, it doesn't do me any value because he's a gelding, but it's a very prestigious race.
How has this horse developed since his last race, kind of long matured and such?
It's good, As I said, I think I was a little too kind on him. He's not a big, robust horse, and I want to educate this horse a little more. And that's why I ran him in the Fountain of Youth. I didn't want to just train him. So I just felt I was a little too soft on him after the fact, and I learned something from that. I never stop learning. You always keep learning.
What would you say that you learned from that? What was the lesson you took away?
Don't worry about the way he looks. Just train him.
Looking at the way the prep season shaked out, maybe the Santa Anita, two of the tougher fields. What does it say about this horse that he came through this field with this level of competition?
Yeah, it's going to get deeper again. He's got to step up again. But yeah, no, and then another extra furlong won't hurt me. I'll be happy to see that too.
Did you think at the finish that you had gotten it?
I thought I nailed him, but you always want to see you want to see your number go up. You don't want to be embarrassed and be celebrating and you didn't get it.
You said this horse never gets tired. Did that still give you some confidence, given where he was on the backstretch?
He was traveling. Even if you watch it, he was last. But you're watching Brian. You're watching the horse. He's traveling and he's moving in a nice rhythm, in a nice cadence down the backside. So when he started to move, he moved with Chance and Patrick, and then he hooked up with River Times down the lane. I've got to watch the replay to make sure I got it all right, but I think that's what had happened. And then to beat that horse, because he beat us in Florida, that was a big effort, but we had an extra 16th of a mile today.